G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here, back with Oblivion Remastered. Now, I can't tell you exactly how long I've spent here. I think I've spent a couple of hours having a quick look around just to make sure that the game runs and there's not any issues, although I wouldn't be surprised if it crashes on me. And that's not an indication of what I think of the game. It's just that I do occasionally have crashes because I'm running it under Linux. So I've had a look at the game. This is going to be a lot of my first thoughts, impressions of the remake, remaster. So far, visually, I'm definitely liking it. I have yet to see what they've done. The biggest problem to me with Oblivion was always the leveling system. It didn't matter whether I wanted to play a warrior, a ranger, or a wizard. If I wasn't doing the main quest line, it wasn't too bad, although the Knights of the Nine, when you actually go in and fight the big bad guy there, a lot of those enemies are quite tough, because basically your enemies don't scale very well with your character just in general in the game. And it always felt like you were swinging like mad all the time to kill anything. Like compared to Skyrim, for example, where, 3, 4, 5 hits at most and you've killed everything. Not dragons, but, every other sort of opponent that you've got, a few hits and it's down type of thing. Whereas here it was just swing, 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 and it was just cramping up your hand trying to use the mouse. Oh, it was terrible. So there was always that. But if you went down the main quest line, it was even worse because a lot of the Daedra were just sponges. And if you did go up, as you went up through levels, you got some of the really bad ones. The Daedros, those big, like, bulky crocodile-looking things that run around on 2 legs. And then you get the spider Daedroth that look like the woman spider thing that releases all the little tiny babies around, and that thing just didn't matter what build you had, that thing just killed you. And so, if you go and look on forums and wikis and stuff, there's a bunch of ways that people recommend you get around it. You move the difficulty slider to easier and easier as you level up, which to me proves that the game isn't well designed. Or you do things like you never level up. So if you don't level up, you don't ever see any of those harder enemies. You'd never see the Daedroths. You'd never see the spider Daedra. And so it wouldn't. Everything would be fairly simple. And I think I've done that because I have gotten through the game once. And I can't remember what my build was. I think it might have been my spell sword build, but I don't remember. But I have gotten through the game once. But I enjoy playing around in the world of Oblivion, but and doing random dungeons and stuff like that. But the minute I hit the main quest line, it's just massive frustration. Because the first 1 or 2 Oblivion gates that you do don't ever seem too bad, but it very quick, as you start then going up in levels, it very quickly gets just like, don't like, the only way to make it even the tiniest bit bearable is to just start the game and do the main quest line. Just bolt. Do the main quest line. Don't do anything else. Just push as hard as you can to get through the main quest line. Because if you didn't, you would end up... Like if you went and did, say, the Fighters Guild or the Mages Guild quest line, you'd end up at such a high level that you would then just be wrecked by everything as soon as you opened up an Oblivion gate. And it was just like, oh, this is just... So hopefully that's... Because that's one of the improvements that they have apparently made, is that the scaling and the leveling is supposed to be a little bit better. I have seen stuff already that I would have liked them to do. And some of them are trivial. And others are a little bit more... worthwhile, say. So let's dive on in, and we'll talk more once we get to the character creator. Let's just watch. I mean, I'm sure other people have seen this already, but you may not have. Whatever. Let's just have a look and watch the intro, the new graphical intro for Oblivion. Because I will say, it does look nice, and it runs reasonably well on my system and everything, so it's not too bad. But let's have a look.
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years, I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor. But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams. I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking eye may see. Behold, in darkness, a doom sweeps the land. This is the 27th of last seed, the year of Akatosh 433. These are the closing days of the Third Era and the final hours of my life.
All right, character creation. I'm not going to go through character creation in a huge amount of detail. We've all seen it before. I mean, the new interface is definitely interesting. They've got a sort of kept a bit of a retro look while also bringing in some other stuff. The only thing that I find interesting is that there is a new Origins section, and it actually does... If you look at the open stats thing here, you actually end up with slightly different stats. So you'll notice that if I'm an Imperial here, my speed drops to 30 and my willpower increases to 40, depending on whether I'm from Nibene or Colovia. I had a look at this when I first noticed this yesterday, and I can't tell if anything else changes. It's usually just two attributes that swap. When I had a look at skills, I never saw any changes on any of the races between their two origins. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Didn't exist in the original. But yeah, whatever. So this is going to be a wizard build. I like wizards. I've been playing wizards a lot in everything lately. I'm in that sort of kick. The problem I have with a wizard in Oblivion is you just never seem to have enough magicka. And like when you see some of the high level spells, it's insane the amount of magicka that some of the spells require. It's like how I look at it and go, how does anyone ever get that much magicka? I know there is stuff that you can do with enchantments and stuff to boost your intelligence, which is what gives you, your magicka, but it always, in the original game, it always just seemed like there was some real impossibilities going on. So ultimately, playing a wizard, there's only a few races that work well for the wizard. There is the high elf, but my reluctance to play elves started with the Elder Scrolls. That's the only place that I, am always reluctant to play elves, because it became obvious pretty quickly that the high elves are they're bad guys. No, not every high elf is a bad guy. There's a lot of elves in Oblivion and in Skyrim that are good people. But okay, so surprised that they got the big actors. Yeah, in the day, getting those big actors, at least, the main one, of course, being Sir Patrick Stewart to do the Emperor. I definitely agree. But I mean, that was a thing that was happening a fair bit back in those days. In the early 2000s, it was pretty common to have some very popular actors playing parts like that. I mean, you've even, you see it still today. Could it be they just replace the gender choice with origin choice? No, you can still choose gender. It's just not as obvious where you do it anymore. So now when you go to body, there's type 1 and type 2. And rather than saying that female is type 1 and male is type 2, rather than saying male and female, they're now just type 1 and type 2, because, we're not really talking much about gender anymore. So that was confusing as well for me, is that, previously there was a choice that you made. I think it was the very first choice that you made was whether you wanted to play male or female. But now they've sort of hidden it a little bit. And some people probably don't even notice it, because a lot of people would go race, overview, I'm done. I'm not going to modify. And they might go randomize a few times, and that's it. Yeah, Sean Bean for Martin. I always remember, because I'm a big fan of Babylon 5, and Claudia Christian, who played Ivanova in Babylon 5, was some of the female voices in Skyrim. And I always noticed that at the time. Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah, previously that was the only. Yeah, there was a slight difference between male and female. I guess that's probably why they've got the origins now, because the male slash female selection is not as it doesn't change anything to do with stats, I don't believe, because you can't even see the stats once you switch to that. Um, so yeah, I guess they had to have some way to say this is now the way that you determine the stats. The change in stats is now you've got a different origin. So yeah, it is a good change in a way, because it was very annoying that male and females had different stats. Um, so yeah, race and gender are becoming just a choice, just another choice. But that's what it was for a long time in a lot of games. Gender was always just a choice. It never had any effect on the character. This was just such an old school game in the day that they did have this idea that there were slightly different characters, and it wasn't always necessarily a bad thing. Like, you didn't always have this negative effect by choosing female for some of the races, but you know, I guess that's why the origins are there. So anyway, there's three main races that are good for wizards. High elves, but the problem with high elves is that they are vulnerable to magic. So you are, even though you are You've got a good intelligence to start with, and you have the highest magicka bonus of an extra 100 magicka, and you actually have bonuses to all of the, all but restoration of the magic schools. The problem is you've got that vulnerability to fire, frost, and shock, which I think really lets down the high elf as a good mage. You've got the dark elf. Now, the dark elf, in some ways, I think can be considered. Yeah, this stream is going to my YouTube channel. As soon as it's finished, it'll be available. The dark elf is by some people is considered the best option purely because you've got that high resistance to fire. So you're not getting any bonus to your magicka. So you're starting with, magicka. You're starting with the lowest amount of magicka, but you also have the highest bonus to destruction of plus 15, which is nice. And you've got this resistance to fire, which is really good in Oblivion because that's the predominant damage that opponents do to you, apart from physical damage, in Oblivion is fire. So that really always feels like a pretty good option. But for me, it's always been the Breton. You get a bonus of 50 to magicka, but you also have a resistance to magic. I can't remember if it gets listed here or not, but you start with a resistance to magic, which is really good. The only negative is that you don't get a bonus to destruction. So you're ending up, destruction being in my opinion, the best way to do damage in this or any of the Elder Scrolls games, or at least 4 and 5. So yeah, that is the biggest letdown of this. Now, Sistress, as a child, you were spending time on the docks of one of the islands, gaining some money by helping merchants carrying their goods and learning from their adventures. Or you're from High Rock, so less strength but more speed. And that has made you quick on your feet. I actually feel that speed is more important than strength for this build. You're not going to be able to dodge. There is no dodge in Oblivion, but just generally having a slightly higher speed would be better, I feel, than strength. So I feel the High Rock is probably the slightly better build, but it's a personal choice. I'm going to randomize some appearances. Yeah, I like most of that. Cheeks, chin, eyes, face, forehead, jaws, mouth, nose. So eyebrow color. So when I was doing randomize, it was obvious that there were some options where there was some makeup. And while I don't really have any problem with that, I don't actually see anywhere here that seems obvious of where, like, some of them had eyeshadow, some of them look like they had you know, rouge or something on their cheeks. Some look like this one looks like it's got a little bit of lip gloss. But it doesn't really feel like where do we... I don't know where I change any of that. It's not obvious unless it's some of these. So like if I pick slightly different eyes, does it... Doesn't seem to. And these retracted, protruding, sad, happy, drawn or pursed, overbite, underbite. I can sort of see what they're going for, but yeah. All right. Anyway. Oh, tone. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Put that. I don't want any blush. Let's put that to 0. And then makeup. Okay, you don't have a choice. You've got lipstick color. It then just depends on whether you've got that or that, I guess. All right. I'm not going to worry too much about the hairstyle here either. All right, I think that'll do. Let's, oh, I need a name. I hadn't really thought. No, there was no dodge in the original game. There's a jump ability, but there's never really been an ability in Oblivion to dodge that I recall. We'll definitely have a look in the key controls. I've modified the keyboard control layout slightly in my little bit of a test that I did, but yeah. Name. What do I want to go for? Oh, did they? So remaster, when you do acrobatics, you can now dodge. Okay. Well, that will be interesting to see. Now that almost makes me... Because what my plan was to go with the default wizard build. Like, just pick the default class and go with it and see how it goes. But I almost now want to put a custom class together and put acrobatics in it just to see how good the dodging goes. Okay, so that'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Various. I don't know. No, I don't want various. Let's do that, Zod. I don't know why. Okay. Actually, yeah, no, I'll talk about that in a minute.
Pale skin, snotty expression. You're a Breton. The masters of Magica, right? Nothing but a bunch of stuck-up snobs. with cheap parlor tricks. Go ahead, try your magicka in here. Let's see you
G'day, Dagger.
bars disappear. No? What's the matter? Not so powerful now, are you, Breton? You're not leaving this prison till they throw your body in the lake. Oh, that's right. You're going to die in here, Breton. You're going to die. Hey, you hear that? The guards are coming. For you.
Boris, lock that door behind us.
Yes, sir. My sons, they're dead, aren't they?
We don't know that, sire. The messenger only said they were attacked.
They're dead.
The brightness is actually something that you can adjust. In fact, when you start the game, there is a brightness intensity thing that you're supposed to set so that you can just barely see that. But I decided to leave it where it was with it a little bit bright, because otherwise there's nothing worse when you're viewing a streamer playing a game and it's too dark and you can't see anything.
Usual mix up with the watch.
I wasn't actually sure, Dagger, whether this was Unreal Engine or not. I hadn't really done any research into what was happening with this remake. If it is Unreal Engine, then that's great, because the original game engine, or the engine that's been used ongoing by Bethesda for all of their games, is pretty bad, really. And it needed to be rebuilt in Unreal. So if that is the case, that's good. But there's still a few little things about the interface and stuff that I don't like. In particular, not being able to use the number keys to select my text options here, and having to use the enter key rather than space sometimes is a little bit annoying. Right. So here we
I am
go.
your emperor, Uriel Septim. By the grace of the gods, I serve Tamriel as her ruler. You are a citizen of Tamriel, and you too shall serve her in your own way.
I don't know if I'm happy with this model of Uriel. I guess I'm so used to the original version of him. I mean, don't get me wrong, like everything just looks so good in this, but I'm just not used to him looking like that, and I'm not sure I like it as much. Yeah, I don't know.
Perhaps the gods have placed you here so that we may meet. As for what you have done, it does not matter. That is not what you will be remembered for.
I go my own
So
way.
do we all. But what path can be avoided whose end is fixed by the almighty gods?
Please, sire, we must keep moving.
Yeah, he does look older than the original, but you got to remember, at the very start there, he says he's like 87 years old, and he's been the emperor for over 60 years.
Just stay out of our way.
You know, like for 65 years or something, he's been the emperor. So, yeah, he does look like an 87-year-old. I'll give him that. He definitely looks that old. Oh, hang on. I've got to do some stuff here, don't I? So, I want to just check out all of this stuff. So we're starting with 150 magic, a 60 health, 173 fatigue. So we've got all of this stuff as per normal. No factions yet. And that's all fine. I want magic. Actually, I want a quick save. Actually, let's do a full save. I can't remember. Where is the saving? It's under help, isn't it? No. There we go. So annoying having to find stuff again. All right. I want to have a look at my spells. Strangely, you get clairvoyance added in, and I can't remember if this was no, this gets added in. No matter who you are, you get clairvoyance. I guess there must have been a lot of people that were saying, "Oh, I don't know where to go next," so they added the clairvoyance spell for everybody. But I definitely want to set up my hotkeys. I'm not going to worry about dragon skin at this point, although I've got to remember that I have it. And we can see I've got Fortify Magicka and I've got 50% magic resistance. So that is good. Inventory. The one thing that I said that I felt that they should have done with this game, the one disadvantage of playing like a straight wizard in this game is that there is no gloves that you can enchant. You can't just go and buy non-armored gloves, because as soon as you wear armor, it decreases your spellcasting effectiveness. And so you needed something, if you wanted to have gloves, if you wanted to have something on your hands and you wanted to enchant them. So, in Skyrim, you could enchant gloves, you can enchant armor, you can enchant boots, you can enchant helmet, necklace. If you've got the mods, you can enchant cloaks, etc., etc. Well, that's really all of it. But anyway, and rings. You could do all of that. But here, you've got shirt, pants, shoes, and if you're wearing armor, you've got gloves and helm as well. But there's no gloves which aren't actually armor. So you're stuck. But the only thing you can use are these wrist irons. The problem is that in the original game, there was only 2 of them ever. You could keep these ones that you found at the start, and then apparently I've never gone and done the that island in the center of the lake where you go to Shagorith's realm. I can't remember the name of it. But in there, apparently, there was a prison cell which had another set of wrist irons so that you could have 2 of them. So that you could enchant one, and then later on, if you had a better enchantment you wanted to put on it, you could enchant a second one. But that was it. You either had to do that, or you had to put on like some leather gloves or something that were technically light armor, but they would decrease your spell effectiveness, and there was no other option. You just had to put up with that. That is one of the few things that I wish they had have fixed. And I'm not 100% sure they haven't, but I did go to the clothing store in the Market District, and you were not able to buy gloves there. And I thought for sure that would have been the one place that I would have been able to buy some gloves. Yeah.
For the Emperor!
There we go. Hey, I got one.
Are you all right, sire? We're clear for now.
Okay, I don't want any of that. Although I could take the robes and the hood, because I do eventually need some, or some form of armor.
How could they be waiting
or
for
clothing, I guess, better than this stuff. Although I had a thing that I was doing a while back in Skyrim, in that I was running around in Skyrim's equivalent of the sackcloth clothing as a wizard, because it was just super cheap. To every time you needed to re-enchant a new set of gear because you got better at enchanting and you could put a higher level enchantment on it, you just go and buy this for like a gold and you're done. And it's still, it's easy to go and search around and get clothes in this game as well. But what I'm saying is I was doing that in Skyrim. I was running around as like the beggar wizard.
No, but it's too late to go back now. Don't worry.
I wanted to put that short sword. Still no dual wielding options.
We will get you out of
but it doesn't really worry me too much because I'm not planning on using weapons.
Let's move. You stay here, prisoner. Don't try to follow us.
Come on. Gotcha. So it actually, sometimes it feels, like you said, sometimes it feels darker in here and sometimes it feels brighter. A bit hard to tell. All right. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. It's good to see that they've kept all of this so close to the original. The only difference I've seen is right here. There's no leather gloves. Normally you pick up... Actually, I always thought it was boots you never found here. And you got a helmet, cuirass. No, it was greaves. It was pants you never found here. You found everything else on this body previously. You had the full set of light gear. I'm going to take all the arrows. They do weigh something now. They didn't used to. Arrows don't weigh much, and selling even those cheap arrows for $1 each is pretty good. I'm going to take the leather armor because I shouldn't have picked that up. Actually, I'll show you the thing that I like the least about the change that they've made. I can't take anything from my inventory and put it into this sack. Or if I can... there's no indication of how I would do that. But I used to be able to do that in the game. I used to be able to put things from my inventory. So I used to be able to put something from my inventory into this chest if I didn't want to carry it anymore. And I can't do that now. My only option is to drop it. I'm going to grab that rusty bow. I don't want it. I'm not going to use it. There's another sort of wizard build that I've thought about doing at times, which is the torch bearer. So a wizard who just carries a torch everywhere. Actually, here's the other thing I noticed. Previously, let's grab this torch. I can't. Let's grab the torch that was over here. Where was it? There. Previously... in Oblivion, you could block with the torch. If you didn't have another weapon in your hand, you used to be able to block with the torch, and you can't anymore. It doesn't block. There's no torch blocking. But yeah, I thought about doing a build where I carry a torch everywhere. I don't know, maybe I will do that for this build. Maybe I will carry a torch. Oh, the other thing. Let me put the torch away for a sec. You may have seen me do this in other playthroughs. There used to be an interesting little hack where you could guard with a weapon, any weapon, and you could cast spells at the same time, and it would allow you to cast just a little bit faster. That no longer works. You cannot cast while blocking, while guarding. Like, I'm trying to do it now, and it just will not let me cast a spell. So that little tweak, that little whatever you want to call it, it was like a little hack type of thing that if you knew about it, if you blocked and then cast, you were actually casting just a little bit faster than if you just weren't doing any other actions. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. And I wish that I could get that continue to fire just by hitting spacebar. Now I've got to go all the way over to the enter key, which moves my hand that is on WASD too far. Unless I had a custom keyboard that only had WASD and a few other special keys on it, which I don't. I'm using a standard QWERTY keyboard. I'm going to grab... Yeah, and I've got to use enter for that. I don't want that. I don't want any of that. I'll take the torches because I'm going to be using torches now as my gimmick. Silly idea, but we'll play with it for a little while. We'll see how we go. There was also a location in the tunnels. There used to be a location where there was a small bag of stuff, and that appears to have gone. Not going to bother searching any of these rats because they never have anything good that I want, and neither does that body. I don't know why I even looked at it. Come on, where are you? There's usually a couple of rats in here. There's one. God, how did that miss? Damn it. And then there's the other over there, and there's a third one. Oh, you jumped out of the way, you naughty boy. It might have been a girl. I don't know. Yeah, I want all of that. I like the addition of the take-all. I used to have a mod to do that. The only mod that I used to have that I really wish I still had will be the backpack mod. I know I'm going to feel like I'm overburdened way too much without it. Where are the others? There's at least... There's one more behind there, and then there's that guy up there. Got him. Alright. I don't know whether to try opening this chest or not. I hate this minigame, and so I'm going to use auto attempt. No. Wasting 2 lockpicks at this point in the game is not worth it. There's really nothing here that's worthwhile picking up, except there is a couple of gold, and wouldn't you know it, there's a gold right underneath that rat's tail. I found that a little bit annoying, that it's hard to actually see those gold that are there. But overall, I mean, I do like the changes in the... Might grab that just to sell it. I do like the changes in the visuals in the dungeons and stuff. Like they've added water in a few places and things like that I thought were interesting. Oh, I didn't see you there. I don't know how I didn't see you there, but I didn't. Those two there. Is there another? There isn't. So it used to be right here. There was a small chest in a little alcove there, and it's no longer there. Not a chest, a little bag. I don't know why they got rid of it. But it ain't there anymore. Now, I don't think I want to grab the stuff in this barrel because it's only... No. It's only ale. It doesn't sell for very much. It does weigh a little bit. Hello there. Oh, Well, actually, I probably need to do a few more tests. That seemed like... As it used to be that there was a certain percentage chance that whether you would actually find anything. There should be... Oh, there's the flawed ruby. When you are going to pick up... Oh. Yep. There doesn't seem to be any sort of... Yeah. If it's there, you can pick it up now, which is good. I used to hate that. I'm only going to sell... I shouldn't be picking these up. I'm not going to be doing alchemy in this build, so... Well, I mean, I'm picking the wizard, and I don't remember if he has alchemy or not as one of his abilities. But, Thieves' Wheel isn't worth it. One of the things that I was thinking about that I would have liked... Actually, there's multiple things that I would have liked. I would have liked them to add in the ability to do stealth magic. That would have been really nice. I don't think it's there. I have tried doing it, you know, a little bit, but I might try it a little bit more actually in this build. But the other thing that I really wished was done was get rid of a lot of the clutter that you would find in, you know, storage boxes and stuff. All the stuff that didn't have any value, but you could still pick up. I mean, you learn, when you play the game, you learn to just ignore those things. It just seems rather annoying. That they're even there, you know? And also, some of those items I felt should have been worth something. Hourglasses, tongs, any of the tools that you could find, they definitely should have been worth something, because any craftsman would definitely say that their tools are worth something, but they were always just clutter in this game. And I felt a lot of those clutter items should have been worth a little bit more. Oh, you're going to shoot at me, are you? Well, how about we just knock you over? Quick save. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Rat meat. Take the lockpicks. Don't need the rest. Got him. Rusty. That one at least is not the crap version. Okay. Did that kill him? Yeah. Oh, hello there. Thank you. I'll take that staff. Normally I'd actually use that staff, but now that I'm being the torchbearer, I don't think I will. It's not that great a staff anyway, to be honest. Over here. How are we doing for carrying capacity? Oh, almost maxed out. So I can like drop this. Left control. There we go. Or left shift. Oh, drop stack or drop. Okay. Drop the bow. Oh, that's right. I wanted to check here. Yeah, 87% spell effectiveness. So they do still have the penalty for wearing armor. So I won't wear any armor. I mean, I could, but I won't. Oh! All right. Take note, people. Hitting F. I'll show you again. When I'm in there, I mistakenly hit F. I don't know why. And that gave me my thing so that I can actually store stuff in that chest. Important note. Undocumented feature. Like, nothing down here at the bottom of the screen was showing me, and it now no longer has, yeah, it does still have R to take all. So I meant to hit R, and I moved my finger down too far and hit the F instead. All right. So it's not quite so bad as I thought. It is possible to store stuff in chests.
Find a defensible spot and protect the Emperor until help arrives.
Help? What makes you think help will get here before more of those battles?
Here they come again!
We need to get the Emperor out of here.
Damn it! It's that prisoner again! Kill him! He might be working with the assassins.
No, he is not one of them. He can help us. He must help us. They cannot understand why I trust you. They've not seen what I've seen. How can I explain? Listen, you know the Nine, how they guide our fates with an invisible hand.
I'm not on good terms with the gods.
I've served the Nine all my days, and I chart my course by the cycles of the heavens. The skies are marked with numberless sparks, each a fire, and every one a sign. I know these stars well, and I wonder, which sign marked your birth?
If you've seen my playthroughs of Avowed, you'll notice that one of the things that I said that I felt was a little bit creepy in Avowed was I don't know whether it was just my brain or what it was, but a lot of the time when NPCs were talking in that sort of situation where you're face to face and you're talking to them, their tongue was super noticeable in their mouth. And I've noticed that it looks better here, is all I'll say. It looked really weird in Avowed. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. There were times when I didn't notice it as much. But I just noticed there. And whether it was just because he doesn't open his mouth as much as some of the ones in Avowed did, maybe, I don't know. I do like the layout they've got here of the birth signs. The fact that the top level ones are the three main class ones. And then you've got, I don't know, they seem fairly logical, the layout of some of these. So, for example, these ones are the classes. These are the ones that, I don't know. I was thinking, something came to me yesterday when I was having a look. They just, yeah. I know that there is some logic to it. I just can't. You know, you've got the Lord, the Lady, and the Lover. That's a. You know, The ritual, the Atronach and the tower, the steed, the apprentice, the shadow, and then you got the serpent. I don't know, just some of them, the layout seemed good. I didn't say at the start, when you're choosing your race, I felt it was actually a little bit, the scroll, there was a vertical scroll on the screen to see all the information. So the area down here where it had the information about the race that you were picking had a scroll section in it. And I would like to have seen that changed a little bit so that when you picked a different race, it automatically scrolled back up to the top, because I found there were times when you no longer could see what the race was. And if you weren't 100% sure from the picture, you were looking and going, which race is this? And it wasn't immediately obvious to me that it had scrolled down a little bit. And so, yeah, that was one little thing that I didn't mention at the start. But anyway, really, there's only a couple of things here that are good for the mage. You've got, of course, the mage, 50 extra magicka, which is probably what we're going to go with. But you've also got the apprentice. The problem there is you're 100% susceptible to magic. If you took this as a high elf, by the way, you almost make yourself... like you're almost dead straight away, because you're vulnerable to fire, frost, and shock, and 100% susceptible to magic. You end up taking like 250 damage, 250% damage from those things or something. It's just ridiculous. Atronach is the one that I've never been game to do, because it's got to be so hard. The fact that you never regen magicka unless someone casts a spell at you, which, let's be honest, that's pretty rare in this game. Unless you're actually doing the mage's quest line, it doesn't feel like there's that many spells. I suppose there's a few things in the Oblivion Gates that cast spells or spell-like effects at you, but it just doesn't really feel like you get your magicka back all that much with that ability. And I know there are ways that people work out how to get around this, blah, 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 but yeah. This one here is an interesting one. Fortifying willpower and endurance by 10 points. I don't think this is actually enough. Like, if you take the mage, it increases your magicka by 50 points. Increasing your... No, this one is no good, because you need intelligence increase to get an increase in magicka. So all that does is increase your magicka recharge. And I don't think there was any other ability. No, there was no other abilities that fortified your magicka. So that one doesn't really help you. So we are going to stick with the mage and get some more magicka out of this.
The signs I read show the end of my path. My death, a necessary end.
Yeah, Lord Sing. I don't think I've ever tried that one, really.
Your stars are not mine. Today the mage shall light your way on the paths of glory. My dreams grant me no opinions of success. Their compass ventures not beyond the doors of death. But in your face I behold the sun's companion. The dawn of Akatosh's bright glory may banish the coming darkness. With such hope, and with the promise of your aid, my heart must be satisfied. No trophies of my triumphs precede me, but I have lived well, and my ghost shall rest easy. Men are but flesh and blood. They know their doom, but not the hour. In this, I am blessed to see the hour of my death, to face my apportioned fate, then fall. I go to my grave. A tongue shriller than all the music calls me. You shall follow me yet for a while. Then we must part.
Sire.
You may as well make yourself useful. Carry that torch and stick close. Stick close and let us do our job, and you'll be all right.
For some reason, it resets my cast spell to my healing spell. I don't know why it does that, but it always seems to do it at that... Well, I noticed it yesterday. Put it that way, when I was testing out the game. Alrighty. This area being underwater is an interesting...
Protect the Emperor!
God's
My
blood.
blood
For the
for
Blade
Talos
Empire.
preserve us.
And the
That's the
Emperor!
best you can do.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I could get any more hits in without them complaining that I'm hitting them. Not that it really matters if I hit them, but...
Prisoner, help the Emperor!
Die, you scum!
Alright. Sorcery. Yeah, well, let's grab those. For some reason, you take those off them and they lose their gloves and boots. I don't know why. I wish I could grab their gloves and boots because I really want them. I don't think it puts them on you when you... It does! Now, that is super annoying. Oh, I meant to do R there. I would like to see Sky Oblivion when it comes out. Frankly, I wasn't even aware that this game was being remastered. I hadn't heard. I was only waiting for Sky Oblivion to come out. Because I like the combat and magic system in Skyrim much better than I like it in this game. But I don't know how much the redesign has improved things. Yet to see. I am going to be playing around with this. I'm going to be playing around with a ranger build. I'm going to be playing around with a warrior build. And just sort of see, because, yeah, combat in this game, like I used to never play with a bow and arrow unless I had a mod which increased the damage like 4 times. Because it just...
They're behind us.
Everything was an arrow sponge.
Wait here with the Emperor. Guard him with your life.
You thought we'd...
For the Emperor!
This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death.
What is the little footsteps in 3? Like, it's obvious that that is... Uriel is the
You alone must stand against
Quest-
the Prince of Destruction.
current quest item that I'm supposed to be going to.
Have the amulet of kings.
But
Take the amulet. Give it to Joffrey.
it's not obvious.
Knows where to
Because
find
there's another
the
part
son.
I'll show you in a minute.
And close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Stranger, you chose a bad day to take up with the cause of the
You thought we'd go down easy?
Now,
Talos, save us.
I will say that I tried something in my last little playthrough. I didn't pick it up this time, but if you pick up the... one moment. I got to block somebody from Twitch. Where is it? There. Ban. Go. How do I close all that up? I don't know. Oops, that's not what what was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can pick up the katana or whatever it is, the sword that these guys use. You can pick it up, You can pick it up from the captain at the very start of this section, and you can also, if you go around Boris there, who for some reason it's not showing me who he is, and go down the corridor, you can often pick up the katana that his companion has as well. But once you speak to Boris and go through the whole thing of choosing your class, he takes those weapons off you. And I just thought, well, let's give it a try. And I dropped the katana, the captain's katana, out here, and then went and talked to Boris, and it still gets picked up. I mean, it wasn't a hack in the original version of the game. You couldn't do that. But
the amulet.
You know,
the amulet of kings? It wasn't on the Emperor's
I was curious to see whether maybe they left something in and forgot about it. I'm of two minds about Boris's beard. I'm just not used to him wearing a beard. I think it looks all right. I'm just not used to it.
Strange. He saw something in you. Trusted you. They say it's the dragon blood that flows through the veins of every septim. They see more than lesser men. The amulet of kings is a sacred symbol of the Empire. Most people think of the red dragon crown, but that's just jewelry. The amulet has power. Only a true heir of the blood can wear it, they say. He must have given it to you for a reason. Did he say why?
Yeah, I've got to take it to Joffrey.
He said that? Why? Nothing I ever heard about. But Joffrey would be the one to know. He's the Grand Master of my order. Although you may not think so to meet him, he lives quietly as a monk at Waynon Priory, near the city of Coral. First, you need to get out of here. Through that door must be the entrance to the sewers, past the locked gate. That's where we were heading. It's a secret way out of the Imperial City. Or it was supposed to be secret. Here, you'll need this key for the last door into the sewers. There are rats and goblins down there. But from what I've seen of you, I'm guessing you're an experienced witch hunter. Am I right?
No, I am not a witch hunter. I also like this, the fact that they've split this into the three, you know, the combat, the magic, and the stealth. I feel that's really good because that was something that they didn't really do previously. So when you had the list of them all, it did tell you the specialization like it does over here, but just grouping them so that you can say, well, I want to play someone who is primarily using magic. Well, now you've got them all here in one spot. I am definitely going to pick mage. Although it's tempting to go sorcerer, but I just don't think sorcerer is really all that good. And I've never liked battle mage. I've tried the whole spell sword thing before. All of these games, it's pretty much the same. I just don't feel you ever have enough. Like, particularly in the original Oblivion, there was never, because combat was so janky, maybe. You couldn't really, if you were going to use magic, you had to be actively using, like destruction, for example, you had to be actively using that to get it to level up so that you could cast the more powerful spells. Because if you didn't, but you were still going up in levels, your spells just were not going to be doing enough damage to your opponents. The same with blade or blunt, right? So in this one, you could go down the blade route, but it just never felt like, and I know that the whole thing was, the whole idea that really just wasn't communicated at all to you, but the idea was that you were supposed to wait and not level up until you got a full 5 levels in maybe even all of the major skills before you went to your next level. And that way you got the most out of it. But I want to just play the game. I don't want to sit there and spend all this time going back and forth. And it was always really hard to keep track of how many levels you'd got in a particular skill in that, you know, how many levels in that skill you'd got before you would then get your character level increased. So trying to manage all of that was an absolute nightmare. And so it always just felt that if you're trying to use two things together, about the only thing that did work together was stealth and, of course, archery. That really wasn't a big deal. But if you're trying to use magic and a blade, you ended up either doing more damage with your blade, which leveled up blades and didn't level up the magic that you were using, because magic's hard enough to level as it is, because there's multiple schools of magic, and destruction has always been the hardest school to level, and it's fairly easy to level something like illusion or alteration. There are spells that you can just cast over and over again and get a level fairly quickly. So you always had this disconnect where if you tried to do the spell sword, your blade went up really quickly, but destruction never did. So you ended up giving up on destruction and just using the blade all the time. And it just never worked. And the same ultimately happens in Skyrim. Anytime I've tried to build that sort of character, it's always like, well, if I'm going to be using these spells, because the thought would be, okay, I'll use fireball or lightning bolt from a distance, and then when the enemies get close, I'll switch to my blade. Well, the problem then was in Skyrim, magic cast with two hands is more powerful than magic cast with one. So if you're going to wait until someone gets close and you're going to switch to a weapon, that slows you down. At least here, you don't have to unequip a weapon. You can even use a two-handed weapon and still cast spells, which was great. That was the only advantage of having something like a spell sword. But yeah, it was just sort of like it just never worked for me, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm sure other people made it work, but I've always had problems trying to get that to work really well. I might try it again, but for now we're going to go with mage. And I could create a custom, but I don't think I want to, because I don't really feel like there's anything missing. Like, I'm not going to use alchemy, although I probably should. I probably should use alchemy to make as many magic potions as I can. And I'm not going to use conjuration much, if at all. I don't think the conjuration school here is all that great. In particular, the one thing it has that you didn't have in Skyrim is the conjuration school here allows you to conjure pieces of armor, but you've got to conjure them one after the other, which takes time. You can't just go conjure me a set of armor. I mean, you've still got the alteration spell, which is the protection spell. That is good. But you could also conjure this, it's basically Daedric armor, but you had to do, 4 times you had to cast it for each different piece. You had to know all 4 spells and cast them one after the other, and then they only last for like 20 or 30 seconds. And it's like, oh, God. And so I always felt that was useless. It's better off just using the protection spell from Alteration and enchanting up some gear with that on it to give you protection, and then, yeah, you're good. So anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. Enough rambling.
In any case, rats and goblins won't give you any trouble. You must get the amulet to Joffrey. Take no chances, but proceed to Wayne Priory immediately. Got it?
Yep.
Good. I'll stay here to guard the Emperor's body and make sure no one follows you. You'd better get moving. May Talos guide you.
We're just going to quickly double check. Usually these bodies don't have much on them. Yeah, but Glenroy does have a couple of gold. And I can't be 100% sure. Well, I mean, yeah, it is eventually going to be a case of I'm going to have more gold than I know what to do with. But it always feels like early game, you want more gold. Oh, we also have some new spells. So I want to set that on my 5. I'm not going to use Turn Undead. I think, even though I don't like... Cold Touch does more damage. No. That... Why is that doing that? That is silly. Yeah, so Cold Touch does more damage of 15 points. Costs 24. Shock for 15 does 10. Feels like that is actually a better option. And then I want Flare number 2. And then I want Protect on 6. Starlight on 7. Maybe minor life detection on 4. Not something that I really need to use, but I can get some levels. I don't actually need Starlight because I'm carrying the torch with me. I could actually set torches, because they are going to burn out, probably. I might do that. Okay, I can cast that now to open the chest, as long as I've got the right version of the spell. Oh, I'm over encumbered. Right, let's have a look. What do I want to put? At least you can technically move while encumbered now. You used to be dead stop. No, cannot move. What do I want to get rid of that I don't want? That leather shield is probably... Actually, the Iron Warhammer is probably the big one to get rid of. And I like the cockroaches running around on the floor and stuff like that. That's an interesting little touch. Before we go through the door, I want to take a really quick break. I need to turn my aircon on because I'm starting to get a bit warm and I need another drink. So I'm just going to quickly do that. We'll be back in a minute. Hang on. All right. I'm actually surprised this torch is still going, to be honest. In the previous game, in the original game, the torch would have burned out by now. Okay, I said I was going to try and do a bit of stealth magic. Whoops. I don't think stealth magic is a thing, but... Oh, there was one other thing that I noticed is that the, those... That little pipe there in the original game used... Oh, there goes my torch. That pipe over there in the original game used to have a gold coin in it. It no longer does. Okay, so stealth didn't seem to do anything magic there. Now, it might be, who knows, it might be that you have to get to a certain level of stealth to be able to cast magic, but I doubt it. It was never a thing in the original game. I don't think it is anything anymore. I don't remember seeing that pipe in the original game. But there used to be a gold coin right there, and there never used to be any water. Now, when I was testing the game out, I came here and that little footstep thing that would show you how far away your... Maybe that is something that happens if I cast Clairvoyant. But when I was looking down this tunnel to try and find the coins, the cursor would change to the little footprints. Oh, there it is. Up the top there, 65. Like, what's the... Just doesn't matter. Wherever I am, when I'm looking directly towards where the exit is, it'll give me that. Okay, it just seems weird. I guess it's for people who just have no idea what they're doing and need to know where the next waypoint is. So there, Mr. Rat. Now this actually, that noise right then of a mouse or a rat had me wondering if there was another one in here with me that I didn't know about. But that's actually one of the problems I had with Avowed. And that is, you'd often be walking around in the forest sort of area, particularly in Emerald Stair, and you'd hear the noises that the mushroom men that would attack you were making. And you'd think that there were more mushroom men around, and there weren't. And it's the same sort of thing here. It's making environmental noises that make you think that potentially there's another opponent around, and there isn't. Oh. See? Very... a little bit annoying is what it is. Yeah, no, the rats aren't all that aggressive. Alright, let's get out of here. I'm happy with all of that. That does unequip my torch. I thought it might. Where is... Oh, there's the crowd. Okay. Can't wait to go through there. So, it's going to be a little bit boring. I'm trying not to do a lot of the things that I normally do, but it's my normal thing that I do at this point is I go all around Imperial City and loot everything. Now, when I'm playing Oblivion with my mods, part of the reason of doing that is to try and find the backpacks that are sometimes there so that I've got extra carrying capacity, but I'm not going to be able to have that in this because I don't have any mods for that. But at the same time, it just allows me to get a little bit of extra coin and also find some clothes that I might want to wear, particularly when I'm doing a mage run. And then what I normally do is I come down to Anvil and I join the Fighters Guild and the Wizards Guild, the Mages Guild, and I go around both of those. I go from Anvil to Skingrad to Breville to Leowin and then up to Shadenhall and then over to Bruma and finally Coral. And I go through both of those in each of the cities, the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild, and I loot everything and sell everything so that I've got a good amount of money. I'm ready to go. I don't know if I want to do that, but the other thing that I used to try and do in the Mages Guild was I would come up here to the tower whose name eludes me. I can't remember it right at this point in time. But I do know that tower still exists, even though I don't have a mod for it or anything about it. It's there, and I don't have any quests about it. That's the other thing. The only quest I got at the moment is deliver the amulet. I'm thinking that there might be another quest about it. And I don't even know if you can see it from here. Can we see the tower from here? Because it's going to be... Oh, no, it's going to be... Oh, shit. Okay, I did not expect that wolf there, and I didn't see him initially. So I'm like, where is he? There it is. There's the tower. No, or is that... No, that's the tower. Yes, I thought that might have been the Shrine of Azura, but no, that's the tower. All right. I don't remember there being a wolf over there. But I also don't really remember going over there very much. All right. Not to worry. Yeah, so we're going to go to that tower. We're going to fast travel to Bruma, and then we're going to make our way up to there. Now, I think there probably is a special way that you're supposed to go, but I just did a bit of mountain climbing and found a way to get up there. Probably isn't the proper way to do it, but it worked enough for me. And I'm going to go there. But I had a thought afterwards, because when I went there, I had to pick a lock to get into the building. But in the the other version of Oblivion, you get given a quest and the key just as you're walking out of after the emperor gets killed, and you go through that last door before you go down and meet the goblins and stuff. And yeah, it's just there that you find it, you get given this quest and you've now got the key. the person that you have to buy any upgrades from is this woman here, and I was just wondering whether she now gives you the quest. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but she looked a lot better in the other game.
Writers
Runes.
Guild is recruiting again. Not a bad way to make some money if you've got the stones for it.
I just thought that maybe she would give you the quest. Like if I...
Can I interest you in some of my wares?
She normally has... She has these other things that you can buy that are the upgrades. And I thought maybe she would have the quest, or she would have like a key that you could buy, so you didn't have to pick the lock. But no, it's just there now. So let's sell a bunch of this.
You drive a hard bargain.
Don't want that. Don't want
That's a
that.
fair deal. That's a good deal. You drive a hard... A fine transaction. A fine
Don't need that. I might keep this. I don't know if I want to do alchemy or not. It's kind of boring and annoying is what it is. She won't buy any of the stuff that I've got in those categories, that's why.
Go back and see me again.
I don't think there's any spells that I really want from her, but let's see what she's got.
Prices in all Cyrodiil.
I've already got Candlelight. I can't use that Paralyzed because I don't have enough Magicka. And I can't even afford it anyway, it's $2,000.
Be seeing you.
Welcome to the Mystic Emporium. Calendil is here, with all your needs under one roof. Look and buy. Nothing could be easier.
Want to know what's really creepy? Kinda looks like my brother. Again, I preferred the original version of him. Elves and beards just don't work for me. I don't know why, it's just something that I've never been a fan of.
Only quality goods for sale here.
What have you got to sell?
What can I interest you in?
Nothing all that interesting. Okay, I can sell some stuff to you. I'll get rid of the staff. And those arrows.
You've made a good bit of gold. That's a fair deal.
Right.
Another May I interest you in some of my fine wares?
See, there's the bound helmet. That's the helmet that you can use from Conjuration School. Absolutely, and lasts for 20 seconds. Absolutely useless because you've got to cast it, and then you've got to go bound armor, and then you've got to go bound gauntlets, and then you've got to go bound boots. Hindering touch, yeah. Flame touch. Damn, that's expensive. 46 magicka to cast that for 25 points of damage. Eyes of Eventide, I mean... That's about the only spell that I think I would really want. But I'm not going to bother with it just yet.
Be seeing you.
Morning.
They say that the priests and priestesses of the Chapel of Dibella have all been murdered.
Feather shoes and fortified fatigue pants.
You too.
Okay. So this is the clothing shop that I said I went to see if they had added any new clothes. And in particular, what I was hoping was that they had gloves that you could buy, but they don't. Which doesn't mean...
To divine elegance because you care about what you wear. And Pelineria has what you want, or no one has.
Man, these elves just look, I don't know, really rough.
Have a look around.
Yeah, I wish they had gloves, but they don't. Like, how simple would it be just to add gloves so that we can enchant gloves? That's all I want. Alright. Oh, that's the shoes that I want. And I'll take any repair hammers. Although I'm going to sell... Well, I probably won't end up selling all the repair hammers. But, I don't know. When I first come here, these flies or gnats or whatever they are that are flying around, all this sort of stuff, it's a nice atmospheric thing. I just feel like it's probably going to get old really quickly. And you're going to be so... Before too long, you're going to be so sick of seeing these things flying around all the time. And I almost feel like I'm probably going to avoid going to certain places because... Oh, the burgundy linens. Because there are flies in the area. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's because I'm Australian. I don't know. Yeah, tongs. Like, shears and tongs and... Bone meal's worth something, but shears aren't. Like, I can tell you that shears, they would be worth something. That shovel would be worth something. The one that's the real big one that I find ridiculous is the hourglasses. They would be worth something. I mean, sure, well, no, not most people, but some people would own them, but you certainly wouldn't leave them lying around in the middle of nowhere, and they would be worth a little bit.
What's this about?
Both Thiel from the arcade.
Come on.
Bandits from Camp.
Suppose I could put on my burgundy linens and my doeskin shoes.
If you're looking for books, first edition is the only.
It's a fine place, but I miss the personal attention.
Oh, silver nugget. And the broken glass is a interesting little thing as well. And having some of these things open when you actually open them is a nice touch too, I will say. I just wish it was a little bit more consistent because not everything actually opens up. All right.
Speak.
Didn't want that pewter knife. Can I... No, I can't hold the shovel or the shears. I just thought they might have added something that you could hold some of these things. If they did, I would have excuse me, I would have had myself carrying something else. I suppose I should keep my torch out, even though I don't need to. It's just my little gimmick in this playthrough. I don't know why, but it is. And I know when I'm going around here that there's lots of other little things. All of these clothing items, all of the cloth that you can just... that there's worth something. I don't know. It is worth something, but in the long run, the full weight of them is such that it really isn't worth it to pick them up, carry them somewhere, and then sell them. So... I'm better off just picking things that are high-value items. Ooh.
Get your black horse courier here.
Really just looking for the burgundy shirt. Hey, burgundy linen shirt. That's what I was looking for. And then any amulets and rings that I'm able to get from now on. That's going to be my basic outfit. And a hood when I find something. Now, the reason I do that... the reason I go with this burgundy outfit rather than going with something like Mystic Dawn... Actually, I could put the Mystic Dawn hood on, couldn't I? But robes are only one item and they cover the pants and the shirt. And sometimes, in the case of the Mystic Dawn, they do boots and gloves as well. It just means less items that I can enchant. So that's why I don't use them. And it's the same with... there are some outfits. There's like a blue and green outfit, and there's the burgundy, like the nobleman's outfit. And they're nice enough. They look good, but they're only a single item. So if you want to enchant them, you can only put one enchantment on. Whereas if you wear a separate shirt and pants, you can have extra enchantments. That's the only reason I do it that way. Torches. See, these cloth, they weigh 4 and they are worth 4. But when you sell them, until you get a good enough merchant skill or persuasion skill or whatever it is, when you sell them, you only get half the value for them. So they're weighing 4, but you only get 2 for them. So it's not really worth it to pick them up. I feel like carrying the torch outdoors here, it's sort of making the game stutter a little bit. The game's stuttering a little bit anyway. My settings are on high for everything, which is what the game recommends.
Somebody
take
help!
whatever
Come
you want.
quickly!
None
We've
of
got
my
a
business.
burglar!
Burglar wasn't me. I didn't. And even the folding cloth, even though it costs... The folded cloth is better. You can sell it for 1 and it only weighs 1, but it's still not really worth it.
Stop! Thief!
I didn't see a thing.
Why are they calling me a thief? I'm not stealing anything. That hourglass should be worth something. I don't know why it isn't. But anyway.
Somebody help! Come
I
quickly!
didn't see a
We've got a
thing.
burglar!
Speak.
If I was a burglar, then that guard would have arrested me.
What?
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder whether the game's just about to crash. Oh, yeah, the memory is starting to go through the roof.
Get your black horse courier here.
The way the rendering was stuttering a little bit. Well, for sure, it's going to crash on me. And it might. We'll have to see. How long have I been streaming? 1.25 hours. Right, from here, we want to go to here.
You have my ear, citizen.
Moving between locations dropped the memory usage a lot. But that's the other thing that I'm kind of disappointed in. And that is, you know, there's still a loading screen between areas. You can't just move from one area to another seamlessly, like open the door and just walk through type of thing. It feels like you should be able to. It's a modern game.
The feedback isn't fancy.
Is there really a need to have a loading screen to separate the areas and have a loading screen? I don't know. It just... Whether they're doing it just because that's the way the old game was, that's a pretty poor excuse, I feel. But saying all of that, you know, I don't know what they did to build the game. There could be a very valid reason to do it, but, you know, the number of... And I mean, you can, when you're out in the main part of this world, you can literally run from, you know, Anvil all the way to Layer 1 and then move all the way up here. And there's no loading screens between the various areas on the map. But being able to just walk... Well, once you're outside of the city of Anvil, you can do all of that. But being able to just walk from somewhere in here, through the gate, out, and then just go everywhere.
Interesting. Farewell.
You know, it just seems kind of disappointing that you can't do that in this remastered version of the game. Right.
Here, sit.
So, this last area. As you can see, we're just looking for silver items, gold coins, anything else of value, significant value, not like one or two.
Prices in light armor.
I haven't spent time there.
And lockpicks and torches.
Damn, money is tight, but good day. Buying
Be seeing you.
I'm not buying a discount spell. That's just...
Alright. So, we've done all of this. I'm actually impressed with, like, how early in the day it is as well. Normally you get out of the dungeon, and by the time you get to the Imperial City here, it's nighttime. So I think they sort of played with the way time elapses in the game a little bit as well, and sort of slowed things down a little bit so that you're not stuck in daytime, no, stuck in nighttime quite so quickly. Anyway, let's sell anything else we need to get rid of.
Say, you look like someone that could help us out. Having
Yeah. I should actually do that quest sometime. I've never done it before. Right, so I don't want these anymore.
You drive a hard bargain.
I'm going to keep the wrist irons. I'm going to keep those. Keep all of that for the time being. Sell the silver nuggets. And this stuff. Deal. 39 out of 150. All right.
A pleasure to serve. Take care.
Tertullian, Sergius, and Cicero. Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel.
Yeah, nothing I want.
Bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon. What is it now?
All right.
What's new with you? They say syndicates of wizards.
So, we probably should go to Wayne and Priory and deliver the amulet, but let's go and discover the tower. Frostcrag Spire? That's what it's called. There it is. Now, I found that there was a way that I could just walk up this slope here and then go across the top of the mountains over to there. It does look like there's a way, if you go this way around the back of the mountain, it looks like there's a way that winds up. But I don't know that I want to do that. I think I want to just take my weird way. This wasn't the way that I went last time, that's for sure. Close, though. Oh. Remember this? How did it not alert that other goblin? Probably should pick up these even though they're junk. I think I went over to here and sort of made my way like this up here. Unreal what you can climb up in this game compared to things like Skyrim. I followed this path to a little dead end just here, and that didn't lead me anywhere. So then I came over back down to here and went around this way. Was able to come up here. Somewhere I was able to get up to the top of the mountain. Yeah, see, it's showing me the number of steps to Frostcrag Mountain, even though it's not a quest. Why would it show me that? It's very weird. Frostcrag Spire, 61. There seems to be a bit of a path thing here. Now, last time I did this, I found that camp. I don't remember if there's anything here, but I'm going to come back to it just in case there was something that I forgot about. Oh, that's right. There's some food which I wasn't interested in. And the sack doesn't have anything that I want. Grey robe. And a grey robe hood and a bedroll to sleep on. What's the grey robe look like? Like I said, I don't really want to wear robes because it doesn't look too bad. Anyway, this road, I don't think it leads directly there, but it leads close enough that I can get up to there from here, so it's a little bit different here now. There's some rubble and stuff around. There's that bridge just there, which suggests that there was a back way to get here. The Broomer is just over there. A nice roaring fire there, which I don't really remember there being in the old one. So yeah, this is now locked. Let's just quick save because I don't know how well this is going to go. I hate this game, so I'm just going to auto attempt until it works. And that was pretty easy, so. I like to leave this here You don't need to pick it up to open this up. Once you've read it, these all activate and the door opens and you're in. The interesting thing is that you don't actually get a key for this now. You've picked the lock and you're in. So it's just a little bit weird. But yeah. Atronach altar, spell making, enchanting, very good. Excuse me. All right. So, I didn't actually check the vault last time I came here. So let's see what that looks like. Dark and dirty. I think I have to buy the upgrade for here before the imps appear. Normally there's a bunch of imps flying around amongst the boxes, but I think it's only after you've upgraded. And I definitely want to get the first upgrade, the bedroom upgrade, as soon as possible, because that's when I can then have a bed up here and also a chest to put all my stuff in. Strange that that stuff was there. Nern root. So all of the teleports to the mage areas. Very nice. Rumor right there. Cloud Ruler Temple just there. Yeah. And then of course we've got the top of the spire. I suppose it's the top. It's as high as up as you can go. Rumor. Ruler Temple. And we can't see it at the moment, but if it was daytime and it wasn't snowing, we'd be able to see the Imperial City down there. All right. What is... Oh, that's... What? That's not where I need to go. I need to go here to the Imperial Market District, not here. How much money do I have at the moment? 762. I don't think that's even enough. Well, that might actually be enough to buy the bedroom. Probably worth at least going and have a look. I wasn't going to head back there. I was going to come over here and do Wayne and Priory first, but let's do this. Because even though it's boring to watch me do it, if I go and I might do it off screen, but if I go around to all of the mages guilds and fighters guilds in all of the cities and loot all of those places and sell everything, I generally have enough to outfit Frostcrag Spire. At least I have enough to set up the spell-making altar and usually the bedroom and sometimes the enchanting altar as well. And then over time, as I build up more money, I can get the rest of the furniture in there. But all I really want to begin with, what is the time? It is 11:24 p.m. I don't need to go and hire a room, but I kind of want to just to see what it's like.
Well met.
Oh, hello. What? What is it?
Hi.
Good day.
Now, this is the guy that normally sells, I think. I don't remember him being an orc. But I thought he was the guy that... Actually, I remember him being... I thought he was an elf. He looks more like an orc than an elf, but I guess he is an elf. He's the guy that normally sells you the upgrades to the castle that's out on the west edge,
Have a look
out
around.
beyond Shadenhall.
Find better prices in all Tamriel.
He doesn't have those upgrades yet either, I don't suspect. I'm going to keep those, even though I don't... No, I'll sell them. And I don't need that.
Come back and see me again. Please, go on.
No, I wanted to talk
The
about
Dawn
rumors.
have been leaving notes in Talos Plaza. I hope no.
Bye. What can I do for you?
Yes, what do you want?
Bed.
I do have a bed available for 20.
I'll
Very
take it.
good. It's up the...
First door on
Take
the
care.
left. It's always the first door on the left. Oh wow, some of this stuff isn't... You can take some of the food and the mead. That's good to know. Nothing's in the cupboard. Right. Let's do... Eight hours. And my torch is still burning. After sleeping in bed with a lit torch for 8 hours, it's still going.
Hi.
Oh, that's right. I needed to come over here. No, that's Three Brothers Trade Goods. I want to come over to... Mystic Emporium. That was... Yeah, Mystic Emporium. Despite the fact that... Despite the fact that the map... Oh no, now it's showing me that I need to come here.
What?
She ain't got no legs.
What? Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Yeah. The bedroom costs 1,600. Okay. Right. I need to get some more gold.
Farewell.
Oh. Now she's wearing... She just had a tunic on before, and now she's got her full dress on. That was weird.
What can I do for you? Can I interest you in some of my wares?
No. I don't know why I wanted to
Good day.
talk to you. I do think I should just quickly come over here. Do the discount spells. Edgar Vatrain's Discount Emporium or something, I think he calls it.
Edgar Vatrine, you don't want the very best. You want cheap. And I got cheap. Let's do business.
See, I don't really want any of these because I want to make my own spells ultimately.
Be seeing you.
Oh, I do want to go next door because that's a staff shop. And I know that they sometimes have, they used to have like bits of armor and stuff like that that would have been useful for mages. And I just want to...
You're in Rindir's staffs, and I'm Rindir. I sell magical staffs. Imagine that.
That's a new voice. I'm positive that's a new voice.
Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel.
Yeah. Like, I know there's someone around that had, like, Atronach's gauntlets or something, I think they were called. Maybe it's one of the other stores. I thought it was him, though. And I was hoping that maybe they had been changed to, like, gloves rather than gauntlets. I want to just have a look around at some of the stuff on display in case there actually is gloves and they're not obvious yet. What are the other? Slash and smash.
Herbal grow Orkog knows you need axes and blunt weapons, big ones. So he makes them and sells them here. Slash and Smash, the big orc weapons shop. Big weapons for big heroes.
I think that's a different voice as well. It's close, but it doesn't sound like it was the same one.
How may I help you?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Nothing. Yeah, rightio, whatever. Want the Gilded Carafe. Best defense.
The best defense, that's me, Morrow Rufus. Light armor, the very best. Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you. You too.
I'm Bernardo. I handle the heavy armor at the best defense. I'm also an advanced trainer in heavy armor, so I know what I'm talking about. Let's do business. Leave me alone.
Some people. I've talked to those guys. I haven't talked to her yet. I've talked to two of the three brothers.
Feel free to browse, friend. It's not. Let's do business. Fare thee well.
I want the feedback. Let's just have a quick look here at the fighting chance. And that'll do.
Welcome to A Fighting Chance. I'm Rosan, proprietor. I sell the armor, weapons, I have it all. How may I help you?
I'm probably thinking about somebody else who had this armor.
Farewell.
But yeah, I'm just keeping an eye out because I would like them to have added gloves into the game that a wizard can use that are not actually armor. But there doesn't appear to be anything. I think I'm going to leave it here. This is a good place to stop. And probably between now and when I stream this next, I will probably go and raid all of the Mages Guild and Fighters Guild and buy up everything I need to set up a couple of things in Frostcrag Spire, and then I will decide from there what I'm going to do. I probably will do the Mage Guild quest line and then go and start doing the main quest line. So I want to see. The Mage Guild quest line should be okay. It shouldn't be too torturous to do and level up my character. But if I level up, I want to see what happens when I level up and then go and do the main quest line, because that's where the game always had its problems. And so hopefully the new leveling system is a little bit better. And at the moment, I'm still not even level 2, right? Because I just haven't done very much. I don't know how far away I am. Yeah. So I need to get a few more levels. And again, this is the problem that you just have in Oblivion. I think it would have been really nice if you hovered over this bar for it to give you a summary of what levels you have done to get that bar to that point. Because if it gave you a little summary, over to the right here or something, because you can hide these details, but just a summary somewhere that shows you that, oh, you have gained, this progress that you've done here is because you've gained, because I think you have to get 10 levels in major skills to level up. So if I've done, 1 level in destruction, and well, it looks like I've got 3 levels in destruction at the moment, which shouldn't be enough for that. But maybe I've got 2 levels in something else or whatever. Just something to tell you what you've done so that you can, if you are planning on, maybe it'll be added with mods, I don't know. But, if you are planning on doing any of those things which you had to do in the old game, if you weren't using mods or you weren't trying to do a no leveling or an under-leveled playthrough, if you were just trying to play through the way you were supposed to play, the idea was that you had to get 5 levels in each of the primary skills that you wanted to level up, because that was the only way. When you went up a level, you could then add attribute points based on each of the skills that you raised are associated with one attribute. And if you wanted to raise intelligence, willpower, and say endurance, you had to raise up you had to raise up skills associated with that. And if you raised, I think it was 5 or 10 levels in those skills, then you could have 5 points to add to those attributes. And if you didn't have that many levels, then it was less points that you could add, and you could only ever add 1 point to luck. Now, I don't know whether that's still the way it is, but if it is, it would have been really nice to have some little overlay here to show you, because that was one thing you never had. You had to keep track of it all yourself. You'd have to say, well, okay, I'm going to level up now, and you'd have to write down, I've got 35 in alchemy, 35 in alteration, this, even down to some of your minor skills if you were trying to use minor skills to raise. Because I've got no skills here at the moment which would raise, say, endurance, right? But I think if I raised some minor skills, I might be able to get endurance up as well. I can't remember. Or maybe you had to build a custom class to do that. But yeah, I think that would have been a good feature to have in the game. But yeah, we're doing all right. Yeah, first impressions, I am impressed with the look of things, although I find some of the NPCs look very weird, particularly when you compare them to the look of them from Skyrim. Like, I've got to say, most of the high elves that I've met look kind of ugly. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about the proportions of the faces that just look really wrong.
Hi there.
From the Arcane University.
I don't know whether it's like too angular and too blocky in the cheeks and the face. But then the eyes look really small and squinty in a lot of cases. Forehead maybe a little big. Yeah, there's something going on there that looks really weird, but I don't know. That's just me.
Get your black horse courier here.
Okay, Nazar. Yeah, that is the stuff that I was talking about. But the alteration and restoration are alteration. I'm pretty sure alteration is one of the skills. Let's have a look. Intelligence doesn't tell you. Alteration, and again, it doesn't tell you what attribute. Now this is wrong, because I know for a fact in the previous game, when you had a look at these skills, they told you what attribute they were associated with. So it told you alchemy, raising this will, this is associated with personality or whatever it is, right? But these ones aren't telling you unless I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. Like, I know, for example, that armorer is endurance. If you level up armorer, you will get points to add to endurance. If you level up, I'm pretty sure alteration was intelligence, but the problem was things like destruction and restoration, they were willpower, and willpower is just how quickly you regenerate magicka. So that is a useful ability to have, but you really wanted intelligence. And the problem was that it was always something that I didn't want to level up. Actually, I think it was mysticism and conjuration were intelligence, but alteration and destruction were willpower. And I never really wanted to level up mysticism all that much, and there was nothing much in conjuration that I wanted to do. So yeah. But that's really annoying that they don't tell you what they're associated with. So unless that's no longer part of it, yeah, I heard that it was supposed to be a little bit more like Skyrim, but I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully I can show that off in the next stream. But for now, this is it. We've started our wizard, and we're gonna see how we go. As I said, I'm gonna do that icon there looks half elf, half orc. That's not what a Breton looks like. Why don't they have that thing there up there? Is that supposed to just be the icon for race? And that's supposed to just be the icon for birth sign. That sort of looks like a mage. That makes sense. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. I'm going to leave it here. Overall, the game looks really good. It's a little bit... The rendering at times is a little bit clunky. I may have to drop it back from high back to medium, even though I thought my system was fairly good. I mean, I'm running a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 Ti. I mean, it's a few years old now, but it's still pretty good. So I'm a little annoyed that there's some jitteries and shuddering and stuff like that. Maybe there's something in the graphic stuff that I should be turning off. Motion blur's off, but maybe like the screen space reflections. Maybe I should have that off. And maybe some of this stuff should be changed as well. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, I mean, the game is good. All I'm looking for is that the game doesn't suck anymore when you level up, because it got to the point where I was playing just no leveling, and trying to play a mage without leveling wasn't working very well. You can sort of do it as a warrior or as an archer, but you really can't do it as a mage. Because you're just so limited then. You're not getting any more magicka, so you're so limited in the spells that you can use. It just wasn't feasible. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed this. I'm enjoying it, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye now.